Audio test 1, 2, 3. I'm providing audio input to test the board's YouTube audio broadcast. Excuse me. Audio test 1, 2, 3. Audio test for the YouTube broadcast on the Board of Public Works audio channel. One, two, three, four. Audio test. Check, check, check. Hey, hey, hey. Audio test. Audio test 1, 2, 3. And audio test confirmed. Thank you. Good morning to our attendees who are joining us on the virtual platform. I do see a hand raised. I'm going to ask Yvonne if you would like to offer commentary on general public comments or multiple item agenda comment this morning.
Yes, I'd like general and let's make it multiple so we can get it finished up in the front end.
Excellent. I have you down for public comment and multiple agenda item commentary.
Thank you.
Thank you, Yvonne. I'm going to go ahead and lower your hand and put you back on
Okay.
mute. Thank you. It is 9:35. I will make another call out in approximately 15 minutes to see if anyone else has joined. Thank you. Audio test. Good morning once again to our attendees who are joining us here in the hearing room, and good morning as well to our attendees who are joining us on the Zoom virtual platform. I do see an additional hand raised. Children's Voices Matter. Would you like to offer public commentary this morning or agenda item commentary?
Yes, general comment, please.
Very well. I have you down for general public comment.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and lower your hand, and I'm going to put you back on mute. And it's 9:50. We should get started with the board meeting in approximately 10 minutes. I'll make another call out to see if anyone else who has joined would like to offer commentary in approximately 8 minutes. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning again to our attendees who are joining us here in the hearing room. And good morning as well to our attendees who have joined us on the virtual platform. If there's any member of the public here in the hearing room this morning who wishes to offer public commentary or commentary on any of our agendized items, please fill out a speaker card located in the back of the room on the table. Indicate which item you'd like to speak on and hand it to me. I'll record your information for the record and call upon you when we reach your item. And for the members of the public who are joining us on the virtual platform, I do see a couple of additional hands raised. Good morning, Jill. Would you like to offer public comment this morning?
General public comment.
Very well.
Thank
I have you down
you.
for public comment. Thank you. Good morning. Thank you. Moving on to Laura FM. Would you like to offer public comment this morning?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and put you back on mute and lower your hand. And Gigi? Good morning.
I'd like public comment and multiple agenda.
Very well. I have you down for public comment and multiple agenda item commentary. And I'm going to go ahead and lower your hand and put you back on mute. And it is 9:55. We should get started with the board meeting in approximately 5 minutes. Thank you. And good morning once again to our attendees in the hearing room. If there are any members of the public who wish to offer commentary on any of our items or general public comment, please fill out a speaker card located in the back of the room, indicate which item you'd like to speak on, and hand it to me. I'll record your information for the record and call upon you when we reach your item. And for those of the members of the public who are joining us on the virtual platform, I currently have 5 public commenters and 2 multiple item commenters, and I see a couple of additional hands raised. Miriam, would you like to offer public comment this morning?
Hi, TJ. Yes, please. A public comment.
Very well, I have you down for public comment. I'm going to go ahead and lower your hand and put you back on mute. And Georgina McPhee, good morning.
Good morning, TJ.
Would you like to offer public comment this morning?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and put you back on mute and lower your hand. I do see Rowena Lau. I believe you are a staff member from the Bureau of Sanitation. Good morning.
Morning, TJ. Just checking in. I'm the board rep for LA San today.
Excellent. Thank you for checking in. I appreciate it. Good morning to the other Bureau reps. I'll go ahead and promote you to panelists. And it's 10 a.m., so we should get started with the meeting momentarily. Thank you.
I can't hear anything.
We are now in record mode, President Kang.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Public Works for Wednesday, August 20th, 2025. Mr. Knight, please take roll and establish quorum.
Good morning, President Kang, Vice President Chavez, President Pro Tem Grant, Commissioner Mitchell, and Commissioner Cardenas are present. We do have a quorum. We're joined this morning by City Attorney Representative Virginia Choi. I'm TJ Knight with the Board of Public Works. President Kang, we have one speaker card in the hearing room. Now we have two speaker cards in the hearing room, and we have 7 public commenters on the virtual platform, and 2 of those would also like to offer multiple agenda item commentary. We have no neighborhood council commentary this morning.
Sounds good. Thank you very much. Before we get started with public comment, I want to, on behalf of the board, want to relay a special welcome to our new employees who are visiting the board from the Bureau of Contract Administration. So welcome everybody this morning. So we will now start with the general public comment, which is an opportunity for the public to address the board on public interest items. When we provided up to 1 minute per person, up to a cumulative total of 10 minutes for the general public comment segment of each regular meeting. Testimony shall be limited in contents to subject matters which are within the jurisdiction of the Board of Public Works. The board may not take any action on any matters discussed during the public comment period. We will start with in-person comment cards. First up, we have Audit LA.
Good morning, everyone. I want to give a quick shout out to Direct D. He's one of the group of auditors that helped me get involved with wanting to look at how things are done. And I'm here for the same thing I'm always here for, Scientology, fighting the cult of Scientology. Laura, who you know, who's been coming, was assaulted yet again, a second time, by the same person who's assaulted others. And their guards, who are underpaid, they're not paid, and have no permit to be protecting or working on the streets, on the public streets, protected the person who did the assault, rather than the victim. That's not how we do things or want things done in this city. So I'm asking you to please revoke our permit, and to please stop giving them permits until all these things can be issued out. Nobody should feel unsafe. She feels unsafe now. It was reported to the police, but she is not being safe because of their continued abuses that are continued to be allowed.
Thank you.
Thank
That's
you.
60 seconds.
Thank you very much. Next in-person speaker is Big Amy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I wish that you can take a moment to take a look at the board meeting video from last Friday. I submitted my card to the lady right here, and then somehow your friend right there just does not call me during the multiple agenda public comment. I would like to ask you why. Since the first moment I get here until today, I did not use any Herman languages. I did not use any Herman behavior. So I'm trying my best to show the respect for this board. I approached the city attorney. The city attorney told me that I need to leave, otherwise they will call the LAPD. I approached this woman. The woman said, I cannot talk to you. I need to leave, otherwise they're gonna call the security. So I wish that you can investigate in this matter, why I submitted my card, why they don't call me they don't call me, and then they don't call me. I do not know what happened, and I wish that you can look into it. And now I
Thank
finally
you.
understand there are
That's 60 seconds. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's move over to our virtual platform.
Thank you, President Kang. We'll start with Yvonne. And I do not see Yvonne in the list of current attendees. Perhaps you will rejoin. We'll move to Children's Voices Matter. I see Yvonne. Okay, very well. Go ahead, Yvonne. You have 60 seconds.
Yes, thank you. There's a new permit that's been issued to a non-announced party, and it is for a activity defined as other, and the description of the event is FWT August 2025, and it's to take place this weekend, Saturday between 5 o'clock and 11 o'clock. Now, it happens to be identified as being at 4810 Sunset Boulevard. The permit number is 2025-1173-2025. This is the only public-facing information on this permit. This is a attempt to not disclose to the public that there's an event going on by Scientology. This is an in-house problem of non-disclosure of
That's 60
events.
seconds. And we'll move next to Children's Voices Matter. I don't see Children's Voices Matter in the list of current attendees. Perhaps they've dropped off. And we'll rejoin. So we'll move next
I'm
to...
here. I'm here.
Okay, go ahead. I don't see... Okay, very well. Go ahead. You have 60 seconds. Sorry about that.
No problem. Greetings. Thank you for hearing me. During this 1 minute, children and adults are in the RPF, a prison to re-educate in Scientology. They are made to wear armbands on their left arm and wear all black, forced to do manual labor. They are not allowed to talk to anyone. Some children stay there for up to 5 years, or maybe 10. So while Scientology has a bouncy house, rigged and dangerous electrical wires and such at their events, children are told not to cry or show emotion while being punished over and over. Out ethics. Please check out Child X, Hotels of Darkness, and Skype Telepo. Thank you. I yield back my time.
Thank you. And we'll move next to Jill, followed by Lara FM.
Again, shame on Los Angeles for allowing child slavery to continue. I'm so disgusted that you're not doing anything about it still, and these things are still going on. The new people, welcome to you. Welcome to the Board of Public Works. I would suggest that you avail yourself of all the research and listen to all the meetings and everything that we have called in about the concentration camp that is under your nose. And I would certainly hope that you don't want your children to join that and take all your money that you've given for them and all of your retirement money that you have saved, because that's what's going to happen. They are a blight. They're a pariah in the city of Los Angeles. Hear that, Nathan Hochman and Heidi Soto Feldman, whatever your last name is? It's disgusting. Bye.
We'll move next to Lara FM, followed by Gigi.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, hi. So this is Laura. I've had obviously I was born and raised in the cult of Scientology, and I'm here again. I was protesting the other day. I was assaulted by somebody, even though it was less slightly. I was still assaulted and threatened by the man who did assault me 2 months ago. So I'm bringing this up because on the sidewalks while I was protesting and letting these members know that they can't be working $47 a week on city property and security can't be on city property. There is no stairs that go on 4816 on the corner of L. Ron Hubbard Way and Fountain. There's no access for elderly and handicapped people to get in the thing without going up the stairs. There's no access door. There has been so many elderly that I have filmed that I will send to you, President Kang, that have yesterday even the girl almost fell out because she didn't want her case. Anyways, what I'm saying is somebody needs to go in there and
Thank
really
you.
say, where's the access?
Thank you. That's 60 seconds. And we'll move next to Gigi, followed by Miriam.
Okay, so the person that spoke earlier about not being able to speak during multiple agenda items on Friday is not alone. I tried to raise my hand and I tried to speak for multiple too, and she immediately put my hand down. Things are so much better when TJ's running it instead of her. This is not the first time that I had problems where I wasn't able to talk because of her. Also, rename that street. It should not be called L. Ron Hubbard Way. He's a felon. There's so many bad things attached to his name. Rip those bricks up, put in metered parking, just change the name, please. Thank you.
And we'll move next to Miriam, followed by, actually, Miriam, go ahead. You have 60 seconds.
Okay, I was muted.
Sorry.
I'm also calling regarding the labor on L. Ron Hubbard Way, the people who have signed the $1 billion year contract. I just saw a footage that was published less than 24 hours ago of an elderly man who was in his 80s with a severe hunchback trying to lift these very small fire extinguishers to put them inside the building, and he was struggling. My heart was breaking at looking at this man trying to perform this job that is not meant for a man for his age. He should not be doing that type of work on public property. You need to send people there to supervise and actually see what kind of physical condition a lot of these people are. We do this because of compassion, not because of hate. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. And our last commenter on the virtual platform this morning is Georgina McPhee. Quick time check for President Kang. There is 40 seconds left on the 10-minute block. Go ahead, Georgina. Sorry about that.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you, TJ. I'm calling in also about L. Ron Hubbard Way. Yes, it should not be named that. Yes, it should be open to the public, but we need to revoke their street permit. That's the main thing I'm calling in about. That street is the only avenue of escape for anyone trying to escape Scientology. A year and a half ago, someone wrote help in the window in tape. Their only chance to try to reach the outside world was tape on a window because they're not allowed to leave those buildings. And when they do get a chance to escape, I want that street open for them. I want that street open for people like Phil Anderson and Maureen Ballstad and Laura Anderson. I want that street to remain open. Please stop letting them close it. Please revoke their street permits. Thank you. I yield back my time.
Thank you, President King. Although that is conclude the public attendees on the Zoom platform, that completes the public attendees who wish to offer public commentary. And in the room, we did receive an additional speaker card from a member of the public here in the hearing room.
Yes, so our last general public comment will be in person, Mr. Trump.
So the problem here is why you motherfuckers censoring our free speech? Why are you taking our time away? Where's my general public comment and my comments on these two fucking items regarding an award and the other one regarding Soto? Fucking dickheads, get it right. Infrastructure. You're far behind the fucking Chinese and you're far behind the fucking Russians. And on top of Trump's ideas about life, I salute all of you here because none of you fucking pay attention to what the public needs. Fuck Scientology, get their fucking bullshit off the sidewalk and streets, get those niggers to remove all those bricks and build a fucking a pizza house out of that shit so I can fucking burn all the trash of those fucking ridiculous rules by Scientology and that fucking cunt Jenny Chavez too.
Thank you very much. We'll close general public comment and move on to multiple agenda item public comment.
And we'll go ahead and start with Audit LA. And please identify which item you're speaking on.
I'm going to do minutes and then I guess everything, probably try to hit everything. And thank you, President Kang, for for me, you get an A+ for having everyone speak, even though technically you could have closed it. So I truly appreciate that. I think it needs to be said. Okay, I'm going to start with the minutes. And this is something I've been harping on and I'm going to continue to harp on. The day is coming when everything that we've been here speaking on here at the police commission, everything, it's going to end up being in the courts. I mean, it's headed there. It's already starting. That's where the process is going to be. And when they're going back looking for evidence, yes, we have all of our videos. We have, you have the YouTube. We could plug the phone calls and clip them, and it's all going to end up being evidence. But it would, for me, in my opinion, it's helpful just to have. It would be helpful for the looking back historically to look at the minutes and say, yes, you can track that for over a year. There's people, more than one person, numerous people came and were saying the same thing for over a year consistently. But it's not being done, and I get it. Like, the Brown Act doesn't require it. I'm well aware of the Brown Act, but it's just sometimes there's an above and beyond thing, especially with something so persistent. You know what I mean? Like, if it was just like once every now and then somebody pops in, then yeah, I don't see changing the way you do things. But it's not that way. This is a consistent push of people who are giving up their time, their energy, everything, because they so believe in helping the victims. And the one person was right when, I forget who said it right now, but that it's not about hatred. We don't hate anyone. We hate what's being done even to their own people. And we really want to be a force that for the victims who have gotten out to be there and to help them for people who want to get out but feel like they can't. It's a very confusing, deep issue with Scientology that, and I'm just asking you to please reflect it in your meeting minutes. And as far as the other one with the low bidders and, it seems like, that with the bidding, I just, again, warn you that eventually, they're getting 16 million, that's a nice chunk of change. But I hope it really is a low bid, and it really is a genuine, real bid. I have a concern that a lot of these low bidders, because they come back asking for more money, and so I don't know, is it really a genuine low bid? And I don't know what your guys, this is, it's above my pay scale, how you evaluate that for authenticity and stuff, just so that there's no shenanigans and there's no game playing, because you are holding the people's purse, when it comes to infrastructure. And I thank you for that. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next speaker is Big Amy.
Signed up as Big fucking Amy for one reason. I'm a proud supporter of this white nigger too, like me, a white nigger too. Because we have problems in Los Angeles. And that is, Los Angeles is not a friendly, infrastructure, accessible area anymore because white niggers, Chinese fucking kangaroo people with Chavez attitude want to stop us, American people, from using a fucking sidewalk and street. Look at item number 2 here. The fucking Bureau Engineering expenditure for the fucking amount of repayment to the fucking Metro for Soto widening. I talked about Soto and Marengo curb cuts for the last fucking century ago, and you fucking bitches, no offense, Jenny Chavez bitches, cunts, don't understand that I want Marengo and Soto widening for curb cuts, curb ramps. Where are the fucking widening? Where are the fucking ramps? Where are the fucking sidewalks, Jenny? Take all those fucking bricks off of Scientology and build me a fucking Taj Mahal on Soto Marengo and give me a reason why one fucking brick can't be constructed on behalf of the public's interest. Donald Trump here, for the record, in which I'm going to provide all 5 of you motherfuckers a Donald Trump red cap MAGA because I believe in Donald Trump. Not what this fucking city attorney who believes in the DWP stealing of that fucking asshole Thomas, her former boss, who had his bar license removed because that fucking punk bitch motherfucker was stealing from us white niggers to black motherfucker minorities and Asians because DWP was padding its time with our fucking money, our interest. Why was that? Your fucking boss, your fucking client, right across from my direction with my hats telling you why. And that was the reason why. Here's the other reason. The so-called bidders that want to bid, what, $16 million for the Hollywood sanitation? Well, I got news for sanitation. Fuck sanitation. Look at the fucking sidewalk and streets. All the fucking chicharro that these fucking homeless crisis motherfuckers leave in our community. Thank you.
And that's 3 minutes.
Fuck you. Fuck all of you.
Thank you very much. Would the other Amy like to speak? All right, thank you very much. Mr. Knight, let's move over to our virtual platform.
Very well, thank you, President Kang. We have 2 multiple agenda item commenters, and we'll start with Yvonne.
Thank you. I actually try to listen to that and try to get some nuggets of relevance, and I understand that that's difficult to do. Thank you for your patience. I would like to speak on the agenda minutes and items 1 and 2. Minutes, please refer to the number of times that the request to revoke the R permit on L. Ron Hubbard Way has been made. There is a legal obligation to do so because it actually, the way it is written and the way it is not being held in conformity with the terms and conditions of that permit, create a liability to the city. Items number 1 and 2, the $16 million contract, the detail was not sufficient for the public to actually appreciate what is going to happen at the sanitation station. I believe that that is the same sanitation station where heavy equipment is repaired, and during the fires it was disclosed that the fire engines and rescue equipment that was needing repair was stacked up there like it was in mothballs, and work was not being done. So my contract compliance and the planning for this event, this contract needs to include what happens to the tariffs that are going to be paid on the materials if those tariffs are hopefully rebated and refunded to be found illegal by the federal government. The contractor should not receive the entire benefit from those refunds. The city should be able to claw back some of those resources. Number 2, there is no transitional calendar of where, when during the demolition and the build, where is that function going to be located? The functions of a city government continue even when their offices are being rebuilt, demolished and rebuilt. There's no disclosure of that kind of level of planning. And that concerns me as a member of the public. The other item related to that is contractually, the contract itself is not completely disclosed to the public in this representation and cannot be evaluated. The Metro the smaller item on the agenda monetarily. Those are all beneficial
Thank you.
and
Thank you,
need to
Yvonne.
be
That's 2
done. Thank
minutes.
you.
And we'll move next to Gigi.
Yes, I'd like to speak on the minutes and item 1.
Very well. For those 2 items, you'll have a total of 2 minutes. Go ahead.
Okay, so for the minutes, like, there's a lot of stuff that was said by that one person in person that I don't think you guys want to quote word for word and put down in minutes, and that's understandable. But there are points that he even makes within his public comment that are not those expletive words. And you could just put a little bit from in general what was spoken about. You know, you could say there were this many people that, you know, spoke in person, this many people on the Zoom platform. They discussed this, and this. You know, just something very brief. But the way that the minutes are now they're horrible. And you guys are better than that. I know you got a lot to do, but they do not represent how good you guys are. The way that you guys allowed that guy to speak, you know, and you listened to him, you paid attention, shows that you're a step ahead of city council. They don't listen at all. They just totally zone out. You guys still are listening through all the horrible language. So show how good you are, and please do something about these minutes. With item number 1, when I'm personally trying to look for a service or look for someone to do something for me, I'm broke, but I do not ever go to the lowest, you know, priced one, because you get what you pay for. And like Audit said, when you take the lowest one, they more than likely come back and ask for more money. So really, is that the lowest one? That's just a way to win the bid and all that stuff. So I'm hoping that there's more, you know, like research done into this rather than just taking the lowest bid. Like, you need to see who can really get the job done at a decent price. Thank you. I yield my time.
Thank you. And that concludes all multiple agenda item commentary this morning, President.
Thank you very much. With that, we will close the multiple item public comment portion of today's meeting and move forward with the approval of minutes for Wednesday, August 13th, 2025. Commissioners, any comments or questions? Seeing none, is there a first and a second?
So move.
All right, first by President Pro Tem Grant, seconded by Commissioner Mitchell.
Very well. We'll go ahead and take a roll call vote on approval of minutes, starting with you, President Kay.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner Mitchell. And Commissioner Cardenas.
Aye.
All ayes, and this item is approved unanimous.
Thank you very much. Just a quick note to those in the audience who are visiting for the first time. I know that that was a lot for some of you to hear, but it is public comment protected by free speech, so we appreciate your understanding. So moving on to item number 1 for Council District 13 for contract award for PCN 3.
Good morning, everyone.
And for all speakers, if you can speak directly into the mic, that would be appreciated.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone.
I think you might have turned it off. Make sure that you push it up.
Hello? Okay. Okay, thank you. Good morning. I'm here for the joint board report for the Bureau of Engineering and Bureau for Contract Administration. This is in regards to construction contract award for the Hollywood Sanitation Yard, recommending the Board of Public Works to declare PCN3 Inc. the lowest of the 5 bids that we received on February 26, 2025, to the lowest responsible bidder. The award PCN3 a construction contract for the North Hollywood Yard project. The scope of the project Hollywood Sanitation Yard involve a complete redevelopment of existing 38,500 square foot of site, The scope includes the demolition of approximately 13,000 square feet of single-story building structures and construction of approximately 7,350 square foot new two-story office building, one-story yard storage building of about 1,800 square feet, photovoltaic carport canopy structure, new concrete paving, landscaping, and site security fencing. The duration of the contract will be 549 calendar days. The project is subject to provision of the City Local Business Reference Program, as well as the Business Inclusion Program. The mandatory subcontracting minimum requirements for this project is 25%, and the contractor has complied by pledging subcontractor participation level of 43.03%. This percentage was calculated after subtracting all the fixed cost item of $520,000 from the total bid amount. PCN3 has no record of having worked on the previous contract awarded by the Board of Public Works within the last 5 years. The Office of Contract Compliance has checked with various state agency, and none of this agency reported any labor compliance problem on the file concerning the contractor. This also require a project labor agreement. The PLA will facilitate an orderly settlement of labor dispute and grievances without strikes, work stoppage, or lockout to assure the timely and economically completion of the project. The PLA will also promote employment opportunities for local residents and will provide apprenticeship training for the duration of the construction. The contractor will be bound on all the provision of the PLA. In regards to the bond extension, PCN3 was requested to extend their bid bond, which expires on May 27, 2025. PCN3 has agreed to extend their bid bond until August 22 of 2025, this month. There is no impact in the general fund. The total funding of this project is not to exceed $18,044,400. Funding will be budgeted within the Sewer Construction and Maintenance Fund. In conclusion, in view of the above findings, staff recommends that the board declares PCN3 first low bidder to be the lowest responsible bidder and award PCN3 the construction contract for this project. That would be the end of the report. If you have any questions.
Thank you very much. We have questions from Commissioner Mitchell.
Thank you for your report. Do you have the request for proposal date when this was initially sent out?
I'm sorry.
Do you have the request for proposal date? We know when the bids were received. Do you know when it was sent out for bid?
No, basically it was an open bid. It's not it's an open bid for public. So I don't have the exact date at the moment.
Okay. And I noticed that the bid bond had to be extended. Was that due to some preoccupation with regard to the fires in terms of completing the analysis for the?
That is correct, Commissioner Mitchell. it's a new, all the people that we get bids from, 5 bids, is actually new bidders. And it took time to kind of qualify each one.
Okay,
So
thank you.
we extended a little bit.
Thank you. Next, we have President Pro Tem Grant.
Thank you for your report. During the construction process, which is almost 2 years, will the yard continue operating the facility? Will the operations continue?
Yes. Basically, there are other facilities that they move all the equipments, including the employees, to continue the services.
Thank you.
Next, we have Commissioner Cardenas.
Yes, thank you. What was BOE's estimate for this project? And did it come in above or below the BOE estimate?
That's true. The BOE estimate is basically about, let me just open my
Sure.
here. We estimated at $13,930,000. And the lowest bid that all the bids, 5 bids that we received, ranging from 16,404,000 to about 20,542,500.
Was there any analysis on finding out why our estimate was so much lower than the actual bids that were submitted?
We didn't anticipate all this tariffs that went up and down, and I'm pretty sure the market is a little volatile. They're not sure of what's going to come in. So the bids that we receive is basically at higher prices because of that.
All right. Thank you.
Next, we have Vice President Chavez.
Can you give us a little bit more background about the necessity for the complete rebuild of the yard and why rather than just renovating the facility?
Why we're doing the development?
Yeah, the project is a complete redevelopment, correct?
That's correct. Currently, the facility is about built in early 60s, and it was working back then. There's a lot of building, as I said, 13,000 square feet of building that actually occupying the entire site. The service trucks that are now being utilized are bigger than before in the 1960s. So basically for safety and better service for the community, they need to kind of, instead of buying another property, they would like to kind of consolidate the building. And if we look at the report, we actually stacking them into more stories to free up the yard so that they can have a safe and better service for the community.
Okay. And I know you mentioned that all the bidders are first-time bidders, and including the one that you're recommending award to. Can you talk to us a little bit about how we will monitor performance during the construction period to ensure that that everything will proceed according to the budget and the timeline? Can you talk a little bit more about the process for monitoring the project?
That's correct. Well, there's a lot of check and balance and monitoring that's in place. One of them is actually Bureau of Contract Administration. It's going to be there every day to monitor the project and make sure that it's being done according to the plan. We also have BOE providing a sole construction manager that's going to be also stationed there to kind of check again against the plans and make sure it's being done economically and faster on schedule. We also have project manager, which I'm project manager, which kind of monitor also the payments and make sure before we pay, they get the actual milestone that needs to be built on that particular time before we pay them.
Thank you.
One quick question. I know the project duration is 549 calendar days. Is that a realistic timeline? Are we expecting delays, or how are we going to ensure that that's completed within that duration?
And that's a good question, Commissioner Kang. Uh, Normally, it takes about a couple of years to do this type of construction. We're a little kind of trying to kind of shorten it and manage it well in order because of the economic unstable and in a way where we don't know if all the prices are going up. I think it's going to be beneficial for the city and also beneficial for the contractor to get this done quicker than what we normally experience before.
Okay. Commissioner Cardenas.
That was an interesting answer. So how are they going to do it faster? I mean, you stated that it normally takes a couple years to get this done. So what procedures or processes are they going to be utilizing to get it in faster, especially when you're talking about a location that's not going to be closed? So you have to worry about ongoing daily activities on site. So just curious how are they going to do it, not just saying they're going to do it?
Understood, Commissioner Cardenas. Well, instead of getting it open, we basically relocating all the equipments to another facilities, including all the staff at the site. So basically give the contractor uh, control of the site during the construction to make it faster. And again, double the monitoring. We have BCA going to be on the site.
I understand that.
Construction manager,
So earlier the question was asked if the location was going to be operational. Now you're telling me that they're moving everybody out, so that it won't be operational. It'll be basically shut down so that the contractor has full access the whole time, 7 days a week or 5 days a week.
correct.
Okay, because now it makes sense.
The site is going to be closed for use of the sanitation, but those people that's going to move to a different location is actually going to be dispatched in the same way they were working when it was open.
Understood. But this location is not going to have daily employees showing up and working from that location.
Not for sanitation.
Okay.
They're going to be dispatched from a
un-
different location.
un-
I think this is the way where we can have the contractor really a possession of the site, so
No,
they can do it quicker.
I get it now. But kind of didn't get it in the first time. Thank you.
Okay. Service doesn't stop. Clog can't always be there.
When you're saying service, nobody's saying, everybody understands that sanitation service is never going to stop, but this location is not going to have employees to get in the way of construction. You buried the lead on that one, so thank you.
Correct. Thank you for the question.
All right, Commissioners, any other questions or comments related to this item? All right, seeing none, is there a first and a second?
Second.
First by Commissioner Mitchell, seconded by President Pro Tem Grant.
Very well, we'll go ahead and take a roll call vote on approval of item 1, starting with you, President Kang,
Aye.
Vice President Chavez,
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant,
Aye.
Commissioner Mitchell, and Commissioner Cardenas.
Aye.
All ayes, and item 1 is adopted and will move forward forthwith.
Thank you very much. Moving on to item number 2 for our motion for Metropolitan Transportation Authority.
Hi, good morning, Commissioners. My name is Sylvia Demdis. I'm with the Bureau of Engineering Bridge Improvement Division. And prior to proceeding with this item, I just wanted to make a verbal amendment. The authority for expenditure amount should be $738,582.70. not $38,582.70 as shown in the agenda. This seems to be a clerical error. Proceeding with this item, the Bureau of Engineering is requesting the board approval to execute an authority for expenditure in the amount of $738,582.70 to Metro for an over reimbursement in grant funds related to the Soto Street widening from Multnomah Street to Mission Road project. In October 2015, the project received approximately $6 million in Proposition C funds during the design phase. Then in September 2019, Metro programmed $4 million in Regional Surface Transportation Program funds for a separate project called the Soto Street Bridge Widening over Valley Boulevard project, which was already in construction. Due to Caltrans' requirement for a separate competitive bid for the Regional Surface Transportation Program funds, the city would face potential delays in the bridge widening project. To avoid these delays and associated time-related costs, in July 2020, the city requested and received Metro's approval to swap $4 million in Proposition C funds from the Soto Street widening project with $4 million of Regional Surface Transportation Program funds for the bridge widening project. However, after the funding swap, Metro continued to reimburse the Soto Street widening project under the terms of the original grant agreement, leading to an over reimbursement of $738,582.70. So in order to move forward and complete the design for the Soto Street widening project, we need to execute a new funding agreement with Metro, and this would require for the city to repay the overage to Metro. We are requesting approval for this authority for expenditure to fulfill that requirement, and it would be using the general funds. This concludes my report. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Just that note on the agenda, it's missing the 7 in front of the 3, so we'll be amending that as well. Commissioners, any questions or comments related to item number 2? All right, seeing none, is there first and a second to approve as amended?
So moved.
First by Commissioner Cardenas, seconded by Commissioner Mitchell.
Very well, we'll go ahead and take a roll call vote on approval of item 2, starting with you, President King.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner Mitchell. And Commissioner Cardenas.
Aye.
All ayes, item 2 is approved forthwith as amended.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Moving on to our final item, which is an oral report from the Office of Petroleum and Natural Gas Administration and Safety. Welcome.
Good morning. And I have handouts.
And then make sure to speak directly into the mic, please. Thank you.
Yes, I have handouts as well as a PowerPoint.
Great. Thank you all for your patience just getting this set up. So thank you again for having us here, and we are just giving some updates. And so the next slide.
And then just for folks on the Zoom platform, do you mind introducing yourself real quick?
Sure. My name is Erica Blyther. I'm the city's petroleum administrator, and I have some folks with me from the franchise section as well as amortization. And so we're going to be discussing a number of things. I'm not going to go into belabor some of these details, but just so there are ideas about the scope of work that we're doing. And anytime there's a request for deeper dives on information, we can provide things. But this, just quickly going over some of the semi-annual accomplishments. So petroleum administration work involves doing coordination with community members as well as operators on various issues. And so one thing that we want to highlight that's an ongoing commitment is dealing with the Alanco drill site. That's in Council District 1. And there is currently work with the state agency for oil and gas, CalGEM, to abandon the wells. And so that's happily money that's not coming from the city, but it's money that was allocated to the state from the federal government. And they're working to make sure those wells are closed properly and make sure the community members are happy. So that work continues, and they are ahead of schedule at this point. There's also some work on another drill site in Council District 14, which is the Broadway drill site, and there are some compliance issues. So we're coordinating on those. To focus on revenue, as of August 19th, we've collected a total of $5.9 million. And this office generates revenue. All of it goes to the general fund, including any extra money for fines and late fees. The January invoices were about $562,000, and the March invoices were about $5.1 million. In addition to the March invoices, there were also some late fees, so that's how we ended up with a total of $5.9 million. We also received, and those are our general proprietary pipeline franchises as well as some public ones. One that's special and unique is the SoCalGas franchise agreement. And the total for 2024 was about $51.5 million. So far we have one payment in and one is coming later this month. So the first payment was $20 million. The next payment is $8.9 million. And there's a big change because of different things. Less gas is used during the warmer months, but also there's something called the California Climate Credit, and you may have seen that on your bills, but it's from the cap and trade funds for the state, and the idea is that it will require large greenhouse gas emitters to buy permits, and those funds get reimbursed to customers. So that bill is lower for that reason. You may remember the July board action to send out notice of violations. So that has gone out, and so far we've received $10,000 from that action. There are more that we're expecting, and so far those are due September 5th, so more will be coming in the next few weeks. Other work related to franchises is the Vinico pipeline work, and we're coordinating with the Bureau of Engineering to properly abandon that pipeline. And unfortunately, when that operator went bankrupt, the city was left having to do that work. And so we were able to get funds from Council District 5. We got about $500,000, and we've completed the first phase of the work, and now we're going out to bid for the actual construction phase. So the pre-planning work has been completed, and now we'll be doing the actual work of filling the pipeline, making sure it's properly cleaned and sealed. We also have worked with refineries. There have been several department requests from Council Districts 2, 4, 5, and 15, as well as the Department of City Planning. And there's a lot of policy work we're involved with, as well as community engagement. I'm going to highlight one thing, which is Council File 211395-S1. And so that's work in Council District 1, where the first oil well was drilled pretty much in Southern California. And so there continues to be issues with development there. And so the concern is, how are we managing the balance of people living near oil fields and also maintaining health and safety? So there's a lot of work working on that, and there's been a task force that's formed. And so that work is continuing, working with some of the community-based organizations, Sunrise LA and Stand LA. Next slide. I think it's helpful to review the priorities for this office. So one was amortization studies, and I'll be touching on that in the presentation. Pipeline franchise compliance, which we're all familiar with. Remediation policy, that's really coming into play with that task force that was formed for the Council File 1395-S1. And so it's all about remediation. Pipeline franchise renewals, which we'll get more in detail with. And these other two projects, the compliance dashboard website, as well as air quality monitoring, are part of the Climate Equity Fund, and that'll also be covered in this presentation. Happily, number 7 has been quieter this year, and again, 7 is dealing with all the lawsuits that come through, and sometimes we have to provide expert testimony, California public records requests, et cetera, and that's been quieter this year. The next focus is our revenue targets. So as we mentioned, there are pipeline franchises that we receive revenue from, and there are 2 sources that are forecasted for the revenue. One would be the actual application fees, and the other would be modified billing rates. So for the application fee, historically, it was $6,000 for the fee. We've worked with the CAO's office, city attorney, and city council to update the LA admin code to now have $10,000 per franchise, as well as make it replenishable based on staff hours. We have about 36 franchises. Initially, we have 43. There are some that are being abandoned. There are approximately 7 abandonments occurring. So 43, subtracting those, ends up with 36. And so at that, we are estimating to have about, if all of it to renew, it would be $360,000. We planned for this fiscal year to probably have about 20 or so it'd be $200,000 that we're expecting this fiscal year just on applications. And the next item, again, is the billing rate changes. So there are a few different ideas for how we would deal with the billing rates. So currently, we collect fees based on cubic feet for pipelines. And so the way it works is that the consumer price index is multiplied or divided by 100, and there's a consumer price index adjustment factor. And so currently, the rate comes out in October of each year, so we only have the one for 2024. We don't have 2025 yet. That'll come in the next 2 months. So for October of 2024, the CPI is 334.242. So that's divided by the base rate. It would yield an adjustment factor of 3.3424. That base rate is multiplied by the current base rate. Sorry, the base rate of is multiplied by that. And so it's $1.40 times the CPI adjustment factor. And so that's where we end up with $4.68 per cubic foot. And that's how the current bills went out. And so the idea is, instead of doing this as just continuing this system, we can do something that's called a hybrid model. And with that hybrid model, we would assign a linear feet to pipelines that are less than 13.75 inches and continue to collect cubic feet for pipelines that are 13.75 inches or above in diameter. And with these calculations, this model would have allowed the city to collect approximately $7.5 million in 2025, or about $2.82 million more than what was collected for that year. So if you notice, you might be doing the math in your head and like, wait, you just said you got 5.9 million. Why is it saying 4.9? The reason why is because we can adjust rates on what are called proprietary franchises, and the public ones that are the California Public Utilities Commission, we don't have that same authority. So one of the steps that we want to do is have every pipeline operator prove that they are in fact California Public Utility public franchises, and if they're not, then we would be able to apply some of these different billing rates to them. So that's one of the first things we want to do. Another proposal for the billing rates would be to go a hybrid model plus a higher base rate. And there is some precedence for this. So Santa Barbara County has a base rate of $3, and Huntington Beach has a base rate ranging from 59 cents to $4.46. So there are precedents for going higher to that. And so if we take the example of $3 as a base rate, we'd end up with something like $16.6 million for 2025, which would be significantly more. And this was all presented during the budget discussion, but what happens depends on our negotiations and various outcomes. But this is the billing ideas that we're playing with. And they're not implemented yet, but that's what we're going to work on as we go through negotiations. The next item is a climate equity fund. And so that was originally set up as one of the negotiation topics that came out with the SoCalGas franchise agreement. So our office negotiated that agreement. And one thing we said is, knowing SoCalGas has had some effect with Aliso Canyon, there's been a lot of climate concerns about the methane release that happened there. There was a lot of focus on climate and what could be done. So we've asked for enhanced monitoring at various storage fields, so that's Aliso Canyon, as well as the Playa del Rey storage field. And then also things like having an annual meeting on showing what they're working on to become more climate aware. And then they also provided climate mitigation funds. So the idea was to have measures in neighborhoods that have suffered disproportionately from climate impacts. And out of that, there were some projects that came through. And so some of them were for this office to do things, so that's the air quality monitoring at drill sites. So 1.25 million was the initial allocation for installing air quality monitoring at the drill sites. And that would give people some idea of what's happening at the drill sites. Has there been benzene? Are there hydrogen sulfide? It would be a way of kind of giving an early alert system. So that's a project that we're hoping to go to an RFP fairly soon. There are also some discussions on air quality working with JPL. There was a meeting held on July 31st, and it was a meeting to engage in understanding the gaps, capabilities, as well as the needs of the city. Prior to, I believe a few years back, JPL was wanting to do some of this monitoring for free. At this point, they're looking for cost sharing, so that may not move as far because there have been some budget impacts to number of different agencies that have been funded currently by the federal government as well as the city. The other thing that we're working on is our the oil and gas records compliance clearinghouse. That got combined with the climate vulnerability assessment, and so it was combined as $750,000. Actually, of that, $600,000 is for our oil and gas record compliance clearinghouse. So currently, the office compliance folks collect records from the regulatory agencies like the fire department, South Coast Air Quality Management District, CalGEM, all those agencies that can actually provide notice of violations, stop work orders, things like that. My office does not do that regulatory work, but we can gather those records. And so the public doesn't have to do California Public Records requests to 5 different agencies. We gather that and kind of create a snapshot of each of the drill sites. Currently, we do that work, but it's not provided in a public format. So this would be a way of sharing this with the public, again, helping with transparency efforts, and so that people understand what is happening in their neighborhoods, how are they being affected, is this a good operator, is this someone who has continuous violations, et cetera. So it'd be a way of providing more information to the public. And again, that's another RFP that's coming up. An update on amortization studies is that these were initially proposed through Council File 170447, and it's helpful to understand the context. The initial idea was to have setbacks from oil and gas because of the concern about health effects. The Department of City Planning, through this work, was tasked with coming up with a non-conforming land use ordinance. So it transitioned from setbacks to saying it's not acceptable anywhere. And then our office, the Office of Petroleum and Natural Gas, was told to hire an expert to conduct an amortization period study for existing wells. So planning went on that path, but understanding that due to potential litigation and things like that, there would need to be some backup to the ordinance so that it wasn't seen as being capricious. There should be some test of return on investment. So the next thing that happened is that basically in January of 2022, City Council authorized us with a budget of $3.5 million to start doing this work. Quarterly updates were also requested by Council, and we selected 3 contractors ultimately. And that work was really commenced in March, April of 2023, and we actually finished the studies just a few months back in May 14th of 2025. So there was a public meeting held, and at that point, and you can see, sorry, next slide, thank you. So the contractor deliverables, there were 3 contractors, Alvarez and Marcel, Baker and O'Brien, and CJM. So at this point, all of these studies are 100% complete, and they all culminated in a presentation on May 14th. This presentation, all this work was coordinated by amortization group, so Renee was here, and I should neglect to mention all the franchise work is working on by Gordon as well as John, who are working very hard on the franchise work, so they're here today, and they've worked hard on these numbers and all these things. But for the amortization webinar, that is recorded. It's available on YouTube, so it's at the website listed below. All the studies are also on the website for the office. So if you want to get a deep dive, there are some slides here. I'm not going to go into detail, but if you have questions, and so it's the next 3 or 4 slides, each of the contractor studies, you can see, depending on what time frame they looked at, there are different results. So Alvarez and Marcel has some results. Baker and O'Brien has some results, and I'm just flipping through the pages. The next one would also be CJM. And so they all have various results, but most of them have found that those who had a return on investment got it early on because, and it makes sense. Once you have if your well is profitable, you got your money back fairly early. If it's not profitable, there's concern that sometimes these wells are just trickling along, and there are concerns about where will be enough money to actually close them. And you can go through the slides. fairly fast. So there's just a lot of detail. All this can be found in a lot more detail on the website with all the studies. These are just kind of the results tables. And there's also a nice explanation. Each of the contractors went through their studies, and so they provided a really in-depth overview. And that can be viewed on the YouTube if there's a request for further details. And so the next steps is that as city planning is working on reinstating the ordinance, and so you might have followed that in September, there was a lawsuit against the city for having that ordinance. It was pulled back by the judge decided that the city did not have jurisdiction over that, and therefore planning had to pull back its ordinance. Right after that, the governor signed AB 3233, which said no, local jurisdictions can be more restrictive, and so city planning is now working on a new ordinance. So we will see what that new ordinance says. The default was 20 years. With these studies, they might be able to roll that back. We'll see what happens. But what happens with these studies is they'll be incorporated into policy once city planning is directed to do so by city council or the mayor. So that's what I have today. I didn't want to go too long. Just wanted to give you an overview of all the work that's going on. And again, thanks to my staff, Gordon, John, Renee, who've also been working really hard in the trenches to get this done, as well as the compliance group, Daniel, Shilpa, and Gina have been working really hard.
Thank you. Really want to thank you and your team for the concise presentation today. So I do want to open it up to our commissioners for any comments or questions related to the topics discussed today. Commissioner Cardenas?
No, I just wanted to say thank you for that. And you and I have a meeting later on today, so I don't want to take up board time at this time. But thank you for that, and I'll look forward to our discussion later.
Thank you.
I have a follow-up related to, actually, we'll have Commissioner Mitchell. You want to?
Thank you for your report and the work that you and your team do. As you know, we're trying to get more light, shed more light on what it is your unit is doing. And in keeping with that, please, please, please submit any documentation, if it's a PowerPoint or any written materials, probably about 48 hours before you're presenting to the board so that we can really kind of do a deep dive and then we can be more articulate or be prepared to ask you questions about them, because this is one of those operations, as you know, that has not had as much focus or attention, and given the directives to find revenue, so to speak, and you guys do revenue, we kind of need to have more time to review your materials so that we can actually ask you intelligent questions, okay?
Certainly.
Thank you.
President Pro Tem Grant.
I have a few questions, but I'll just limit it to two. One is maybe Commissioner Cardenas could explain, why is linear feet greater in the city than cubic feet?
It just works out with the geometry. So there was an assumption, but when you actually do the numbers, and so you might remember, you know, pi r squared is the radius of a circle. So there's all these ways of calculating volume. And so when you do it based on the length of the size of the pipelines, it ends up being more. And it's just going through that geometry exercise where it happens.
I would have thought cubic would have been greater, but it's been a while. The question I have with respect to the Climate Equity Fund, the sort of, when looking at that, has there been, or is there any planned, any sort of public participation and input in terms of how money's spent, or what should the priorities be with respect to climate equity?
It was mostly decisions from the mayor's office working and doing outreach to community-based organizations and the public. But when we talk to these organizations, they definitely want more transparency at the drill sites. And so there's definitely a desire for more information and knowledge about what's happening. So air quality is a big, big issue. That's something that the AB 617 communities are working on specifically, is air quality measurements and things. And so that's something that community is concerned about, as well as just knowing the compliance history. And those are the constant requests that we get from the public, as well as the community-based organizations.
But largely it was policy folks within the administration that decided what the priorities should be and where we should.
Correct.
Okay. And are there any plans in the future to hold public hearings with respect to this and provide input, climate equity?
We can do that as part of the process is just talk about, so there'll be a phased approach as we roll out monitoring at the drill site so we can get public input on which do you want first, which is the most concern. And so we could do that.
Thank you.
Next, we have Commissioner Cardenas.
Yeah. Just had a question about the air monitoring that's going on right now. Now, it's going on at active and inactive locations. Is that correct?
So it's not happening yet, but there's plans to
Oh.
install air monitoring. So that's what the work would be, to install the air monitoring. And it would be the active drill sites because that's where there's a lot of concern of people living next to it of what is happening as they're doing the work, as they're bringing in equipment, as they're doing these things. Are there releases? Are there things coming out?
What's our anticipated schedule of those monitorings, the monitoring to begin or being installed?
We have to go out for the RFP first to get a contractor who could design, build, construct that, maintain it. And so that hasn't happened yet. But the RFP has been drafted already by a number of the compliance staff as well as immunizations folks have weighed in. So we hope to do that RFP. And I believe it's going to depend on the complexities. Some of these cases, the drill sites are owned by city property, so it won't be a problem setting up the drill site monitoring. Some of them, they might be in different areas. So it will kind of be a case-by-case basis depending on the surrounding locations.
Thank you.
One question from me related to the revenue. I know we're expected to collect from different fees and franchise agreements. Is there sort of a ballpark number for this fiscal year that your office is expecting?
This fiscal year, we're hoping to at least roll out 20 franchises, so that would be $200,000 just in application fees.
Okay.
So until we have new franchise agreements, that fee structure, that billing rate change won't happen. So that would be for future fiscal years.
So 200,000 from the new agreements, and then what about any other fees that you're expecting? That could also be, you know, like the penalties that we just placed and others.
Yeah, so for the penalties so far, of that 60,000 that was out for the board, we've received 10,000. So there could be potentially another 50,000 coming in, but there's also concerns some of these there have been some issues with some of the operators, so they may be on another path. They may not be paying the fines, so potentially 50 more could be coming. It might be less, depending on what's happening.
And then SoCalGas paid their first installment for their equity fund. When's their second payment expected?
I believe it's going to be 2028, and that'll be another 10.5 million.
Okay, 2028. Okay, thank you very much. Commissioners, any other questions or comments? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Knight, does that conclude our voting items for today?
Yes, it does, President Kang.
All right. Our next meeting will be on Friday, August 22nd, 2025. The meeting is now adjourned at 11:14 a.m.
So